Hello everyone. Today we will be solving Biology Paper 2 Multiple Choice, October-November 2021. Question number 1. Hedgehogs are mammals. Touching a hedgehog causes it to roll into a ball to protect itself. Which characteristics is it displaying? So the key word is it rolls into a ball, and if you touch it then it happens. So it's showing movement, that's correct, but excretion is not correct. It's showing sensitivity but it's not showing growth. It's showing movement but not growth. It's showing movement and sensitivity both. So option D is correct. What are the features of leaves of a plant that is dicotyledon? Leaves of a plant that is dicotyledon are usually broad. So the broad leaves, this is correct, and parallel veins is wrong. So option B is correct. The photomicrograph shows a cell from a type of aquatic plant. Which part labeled on the photomicrograph indicate that this is a plant cell? Okay, so we can see S is chloroplast, and we can see Q is cell wall. All right, so S and Q both together displays that this is a plant cell. Question number 4. The diagram shows an image of chloroplast. The image is 5 cm long. The actual length of the chloroplast is 5 micrometer. What is the magnification of the image? We know that if you want to find out the magnification, then you have to use the formula m is equals to I divided by A. So I is basically image. In this case, we have the image in 5 centimeter, so we must convert it into a micrometer. So 5 into 10 into 1000 will convert it into micrometer, divided by 5. So 5 cancelled, so 10,000. So C is the correct answer. What are the features of osmosis? Diffusion is involved. Okay, osmosis is the movement of water from a region of high water potential to a region of low water potential. So diffusion is involved. Requires cell wall? No, it does not require any cell wall. Requires a partially permeable membrane? Yes, it requires a partially permeable membrane to take place. So option A is correct. The diagram shows apparatus which can be used to demonstrate osmosis. We can see glass tube 1 with a very concentrated sucrose solution, and we can see glass tube 2 with concentrated sucrose solution. Guys, in both cases water is going to enter. However, the amount of water that enters is going to be more higher in the very concentrated sucrose solution than in concentrated sucrose solution. Because we're using partially permeable membrane, the sucrose won't be able to get out, only water will get in. After 1 hour, what would happen to the liquid levels in the glass tube? Levels or liquid levels in glass tube, 1 will also rise, and liquid level in glass tube will also rise. So option D is correct. Which substances are made by linking together glucose molecules only? So by linking together glucose molecule, we can make starch, we can also make glycogen, we can also make cellulose. So option A looks like that it's going to be correct. Fats are not made out of glucose. Proteins in option C are not made out of glucose. And fats and oils, they are not made out of glucose. So option B, C, D are wrong. When bases pair up in the formation of DNA, what is one of the pairings? So base pairs up. We know that A pairs with T with 2 hydrogen bonds, and C pairs with G with 3 hydrogen bonds. So here G with C is correct. Option B is correct. The graph shows the effect of pH on the rate of reaction of an enzyme. What does the graph show? Okay, initially we see as the pH is increasing, the rate of activity of the particular enzyme is also increasing. But at pH 7, we see that the particular enzyme has the highest amount of activity. Any further increase in pH actually decreases the activity. So, the enzyme can be destroyed at pH 9. Probably not, because there is still some rate of reaction left in it. The enzyme works best at pH 6. No, the enzyme shows highest amount of activity at pH 7. The rate of reaction halves as the pH changes from pH 5 to pH 7. From pH 5 to pH 7, the rate of reaction increases, so also not correct. The rate of reaction is the same at pH 5 and pH 8.5. So let's see, at pH 5 we have, and then at the same level we have at pH 8.5, also we have the same amount of activity. So this is a correct statement. The graph shows how enzyme activity is affected by temperature. We can see that there is an increase in temperature. We can see that there is an increase in temperature, and that increase in temperature is initially increasing the rate of reaction. But when we are about the temperature of 40 degrees Celsius, the rate of reaction reaches maximum rate of reaction, or optimum temperature, that is, and any increase in temperature beyond that decreases the rate of reaction. How can the change in activity between 40 and 55 be explained? Heat has killed the enzyme. Enzymes are not living things, so cannot be killed. Enzymes has been used up. Enzymes are still there, but they are not reacting properly. The reactants are moving faster. Yes, the reactants are moving faster, but that should not decrease the rate of reaction. The substrate is less likely to fit into the active site because higher temperature has denatured the enzyme. So option D is correct. The graph shows how the rate of photosynthesis of a plant changes with light intensity at three different carbon dioxide concentration. In each case, the temperature is 15 degree Celsius. So the temperature is same for all the experiment. However, we have increasing carbon dioxide concentration in this particular experiment. Okay, and at 0.04% carbon dioxide, it's a little bit higher than the carbon dioxide concentration stated over here. Now let's see the question. What is the limiting factor for the rate of photosynthesis at point X on the graph? We can see the limiting factor at point X on the graph is carbon dioxide concentration, CO2 concentration, because increasing the CO2 concentration yet increases the rate of activity of the rate of photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide concentration is the correct answer. The diagram shows a section through a leaf. We can see Y. Y is upper epidermis. And X is palisade mesophyll. Which row correctly identifies tissues X and Y? So as we can see, X is palisade. Sorry, my bad. X is spongy mesophyll. So X is spongy mesophyll and Y is upper epidermis. So option D is correct. Which stage of nutrition takes place when food molecules become part of body cells? Food molecules becoming part of body cells is not absorption. It's assimilation. Digestion, no. Ingestion, no. So the answer will be assimilation. What is the definition of chemical digestion? Chemical digestion breaks large molecule into soluble molecules. So the first statement, larger insoluble molecules are changed into smaller soluble molecules. All right, so sounds like a correct statement. Large soluble molecules are changed into smaller soluble molecules. Okay, so large soluble molecules, usually large insoluble molecules, are turned into smaller soluble molecules. So small insoluble molecules and ion pass through the walls of the intestine is absorption. Small molecules and ions are passed through the walls of the small intestine. This is also absorption, so they're wrong. In which order does water pass through the structures in a plant? Water passes through, first of all, obviously the water must get into the root hair. Then the water will move into the mesophyll cells. It will move into the xylem and then it will move to the mesophyll cells. So option D is correct. Option A and B is wrong because they refer to the mesophyll cells in the beginning, and option C is wrong because water does not go from root hair cell directly into mesophyll. It first goes through the xylem. Next question. The photomicrograph shows a cross section through a plant. Okay, we can see the plant. The X is representing the xylem. What is the name and function of the tissue labeled X? So X is xylem. Obviously, the function of xylem is to transport water and minerals. So option D is correct. The table shows some features of blood vessels. Which row shows the feature of a vein? Direction of blood flow. All right, blood in a vein moves towards the heart, and the size of the central hole lumen is large, and the thickness of the wall is thin. So option D is correct. Question number 18. Where are valves found that prevent blood from flowing in the wrong direction? Well, valves are usually found in veins. All right, valves are usually found in veins. So capillaries does not have valves. Lungs does not have valves. Hearts does have valves, but capillaries does not have valves. So heart and veins are the correct options. The sequence of amino acid in antibodies enable them to complete which function? Okay. Now the sequence of amino acid in an antibody will enable them to have a specific active site. So thereby to bind to a specific antigen sounds like a correct answer. Bind to all pathogen. An antibody does not have the ability to bind to all pathogen. Perform phagocytosis. Antibody does not perform phagocytosis. Confer passive immunity for all diseases. A single antibody will not be able to match with all disease-causing organisms' active sites. So option A is correct for 19. The diagram shows some of the structures in human lung. Where is the carbon dioxide concentration highest? Carbon dioxide concentration is highest in the blood that is incoming in the lungs. So pulmonary artery is bringing the blood incoming in the lungs, which should be deoxygenated. So option B is correct. Question number 21. The list shows some processes that happen in the human body. Water enters the cell by osmosis. Muscles contract. Impulses travel along neurons, and oxygen diffuse into cells. Which of these processes require energy by respiration? So water osmosis does not require any energy. Muscle contraction is active process. Impulses travel along neurons is also an active process. Oxygen diffusion is not an active process, so this is passive, and osmosis is also passive. Now the question is, which of these requires energy released by respiration? So option 2 and 3 are correct. 2 and 3. Moving to question number 22. The table shows the composition of blood entering and leaving the liver and the kidneys. Which row is correct? Highest concentration of urea in the blood. The blood that is entering the kidney should have the highest concentration of urea. Lowest concentration of urea in the blood. The blood that is entering the liver should have lowest concentration of urea, because urea in liver, basically deamination process produces urea. All right, it results in the production of urea. So obviously blood that is entering the liver will be lowest in concentration of urea. So question number 22, option B. Which is the correct sequence of structures through which a nerve impulse in a reflex arc? Which is the correct sequence of structures through which a nerve impulse passes in a reflex arc? So obviously it's gonna be the effector. It is gonna be the receptors. So receptors are going to be correct. From receptors, the information is definitely going to pass through sensory neuron, and from sensory neuron, the information is going to pass through relay neuron. From relay neuron, the information is going to be passed to motor neuron. From motor neuron, the information will be passed to effector. So option D is correct. The diagram shows an eye. Which label part contains cells that are sensitive to light? Okay, cells that are sensitive to light are found in the retina. So option D is retina. Option D is the correct answer. Question number 25. When hormones are secreted, they affect different parts of the body. The table shows some features that are affected by 4 different hormones. Which hormone is adrenaline? Okay, so pulse rate. Alright, feature. Adrenaline will definitely affect the pulse rate. Adrenaline also affects the blood glucose concentration. Adrenaline affects the pupil size. Adrenaline does not affect the menstrual cycle, so correct. And sperm production is not affected by adrenaline. So option C is the correct answer. When the environment is hot, how the arterioles in the skin and hair erector muscles react? In hot environment, the arterioles must dilate so that more blood can flow near the surface of the skin. Hair erector muscles, they must relax to allow the hair to lay flat so that more heat can be lost through radiation and convection. The diagram shows one parent hydra growing and releasing an offspring from the side of its body. Okay, so this is reproduction. Which row is correct? Parent and offspring are genetically identical. Yes, because they are just cloning itself, so they are genetically identical. Involves asexual reproduction. Yes, this process is involving asexual reproduction and they are genetically identical. So question number 27, A. Which row describes self-pollination? Pollen transferred from anther to stigma of a different flower on the same plant. A different flower on the same plant is definitely self-pollination. A flower on a different plant of the same species, well, that is cross-pollination, so should be cross. Same flower, yes, that is self-pollination, so option B is correct. Which feature is only found in the male gamete? So the feature that is only found in male gamete is acrosome, because acrosome is found at the head of the acrosome is found in the head of the sperm to dissolve the outer coating of the egg cell, all right, and allow the fusion of the nucleus. Enzymes, jelly coat is found in egg cells. Mitochondria are both found in sperm and egg cells. So A, option A, acrosome, is found in only male gamete or sperm cell. The graph shows how the mass of DNA changes during a mitotic cell division. Where on the graph are two cells formed? Okay, whenever two cells are formed, the DNA will come back. All right, the mass of DNA per cell will come back to the original value. So option 30, so for question 30, option D is correct, because at this point we can see cell division is occurring and it is coming back to the original 2n number. What happens during meiosis? In meiosis, a diploid cell divides to form diploid cells? No. All right. A diploid cell divides to form haploid cells. Okay, meiosis produces haploid cells. But then, okay, option B sounds like a correct answer, because diploid cells are the one that divides and then divides again to produce haploid cells. Haploid cells divide to form diploid cells. No, haploid cells cannot divide to form diploid cells. Haploid cells divides to form haploid cells. All right, so haploid cells don't even divide to produce haploid cells, so that part is also wrong. Okay, question number 31, option B. Red-green color blindness is a condition that occurs more frequently in men than in women. Which statement about this condition is correct? Okay, so because this is occurring in frequently in men than in women, so basically a man carries X and Y chromosome and a woman carries X and X chromosome. Because of this, X chromosome needs to inherit a particular single recessive allele in order for that particular disease to appear, where a woman can still be a carrier and never show the disease being present. Okay, option A, it can pass from father to son. Okay, because males only provide their son with Y chromosome, so that is not possible. It is a sex-linked characteristics. Yes, it is a sex-linked characteristics. Okay, it shows codominance. No, it does not show codominance. The gene is on the Y chromosome. No, the gene is found on the X chromosome. So option B is the correct answer. Which statement explains why the allele for sickle cell anemia is commonly found in human population in certain parts of the world? Okay, so sickle cell anemia is found in certain parts of the world, mainly because malaria in certain parts of the world is endemic, and wherever malaria is endemic, sickle cell anemia, actually being a carrier of sickle cell anemia, provides a significant protection against malaria. So since malaria is a life-threatening disease, so it can be a selection pressure. It is transmitted by mosquitoes. No, it is a genetic disorder, cannot be transmitted by mosquitoes. It protects people against malaria. Well, it does protect people against malaria. It prevents people being bitten by mosquitoes. No, that is not correct. It increases oxygen transport. No, that is not correct too. So option B, it protects people against malaria. Moving on, question number 34. The development of antibiotic resistance in bacteria is an example of which process? Okay, so basically, resistance to antibiotic is a definitely evolution. It's an evolution, that's for sure. So variations are not correct. So evolution by artificial selection. Well, we are not artificially selecting them by any means. So option B, evolution by natural selection. The nature is providing them pressure, and basically that's causing them to choose the best of them. The diagram contains information about the number and mass of organism in a food web. So, all right, we can see there are 500,000 hazelnuts. It's going to 3,500 shrews and 150 squirrels, which is then supporting 25 owls and 2 foxes. What is the total biomass of primary consumer in the food web? Now, the primary consumer, we have 150 squirrels. So 150 average mass is 400 grams. So 150 multiplied by 400, plus we have 3,500 shrews. 3,500 shrews has a average mass of 20 grams. So multiply by 20, and then we're gonna add them both and find out the answer. Just a moment. So 130 kilogram. 130 kilogram. So option A is correct. 36. The diagram shows some of the stages in the nitrogen cycle. Which arrow represents the process of nitrogen fixation? Okay, so about nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen in the air is turning into bean plants without root nodules, with root nodules are turning them into nitrates. So definitely option A is correct. All right, this is denitrification because nitrates are turning into nitrogen in the air. All right, so we can see option B, organic dead matter. All right, so we can see option B is basically organic dead matter. Option C is basically feeding. So none of them are correct answer. Option A is nitrification. This is nitrogen fixation. by the root nodules of leguminous plant. Which term is used to describe the phase of fastest growth in a population of bacteria? So, when a population of bacteria is having the fastest amount of growth, that is not stationary, neither that is a lag phase, that is the exponential phase, not sigmoid. So, C. Which are reasons why bacteria are often useful in biotechnology? Okay. There is a lack of ethical concerns over their manipulation and growth. Yes, people are not concerned about bacteria at all. They have the same genetic code as all other organisms. Yes, they have the same double helix DNA. All right. Okay. Their DNA is located in a nucleus. They do not have a nucleus. So option A correct. Penicillin is produced in a fermenter by growing the fungus Penicillium. The graph shows how the mass of living Penicillium fungus and the concentration of penicillin changed over time. So time/days, concentration of penicillin, and mass of living Penicillium fungus. When is the best time to collect penicillin? Well, the best time to collect penicillin will be the point of time when we have the highest concentration of penicillin, and we can see that is happening at day 5. So I would definitely say at day 5. Option D correct. The number of Atlantic bluefin tuna fish found in the Atlantic Ocean has significantly decreased in the last 50 years. Which method would make the biggest improvement in the conservation of tuna fish stock? Decreasing the fish of holes in fishing nets. Decreasing the fish size of holes in fishing nets. All right. So if we, because Atlantic tuna, they're like a very big fish. If we decrease the size of the fishing net, then obviously there will be, more and more of the juveniles will be caught. Genetic engineering of tuna, no. Introducing fish quotas, yes, definitely. If you are not allowed to, take more than what you're supposed to, then that will allow this particular population to restock. Selecting and breeding tuna, not gonna help in the wild. Thank you guys for joining the class, and see you in the next class. Please consider subscribing to this channel. All right, and if you want any question paper related to be solved, please let us know in the comment box, and we'll definitely solve it for you. All right, okay, bye bye.